Hello, everyone. Eddie here again. And this time I'm going to do something a little different in that I did say when I started creating these videos, I wanted to look at both sides. I wanted to try to reach out, sometimes make compromises. I did say that I will still sometimes get upset, sometimes get angry, sometimes be really tough with my assessment, but at the end of the day, it is to foster communication. So, in this video, what I actually want to talk about is some of the good things Donald Trump has done. And I know some people may get upset, or I, I, I guess I shouldn't say necessarily good things, but I should say things, views that he has that I have agreed with. And the reason that I wanted to do this was that, you know, I don't particularly care for Donald Trump. That's probably evident. But at the same point in time, again, if I'm trying to open lines of communication, I should be able to actually acknowledge when he does things that I deem, in my perspective, as a good thing. And so I just wanted to go over like three things that while he was president last term, I thought were actually really good. The first thing I thought was that when he went at it with North Korea, with Kim Jong Un, and he said that he would find fury and fire, and I chuckled, but I by nature I am kind of like a diplomat. I do like diplomacy. I do like just trying to find the ground without resorting to any type of violence. But in this particular case, I thought that North Korea has been acting so crazy that for once let a little bit of the American crazy get in there and see what happens. And so I actually applauded Trump for saying like that, for talking like that. So I just started. I was really hoping he didn't plunge us into a war, but I understood the stance, the tough stance he took. So that was something that I agreed with them, and that I told a bunch of my friends like, yeah, you know what, I do agree with Trump on that one. So I was never afraid to admit when I actually agree with them. The second thing that I want to talk about that I actually agree with Trump is that during his presidency, he was in a meeting. He was discussing gun controls and safety measures. And I remember at the time, Senator Dianne Feinstein was still alive, and he was like he wanted to sign on to some of these changes that she had proposed. And he said, I'll take the hit. So at that point in time, it really, and this is my frame of reference. At that point in time, I thought there was actually a good chance for some meaningful gun legislation because, and people may disagree with me, but if we're gonna get any gun legislation done, it's gonna have to be through a Republican president, unfortunately. The only way the Democrats can actually do that is that they need to have a super majority, and they need to have huge numbers where they can push through legislation. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. I mean, a lot of great things. Say what you will about the Republican Party, but a lot of great things that happen is generally because of the Republican Party. Because what happens is generally they have to cater to a fringe of their party, but then once they actually get in office, they kind of center align themselves to something more reasonable, and you get some good, meaningful legislation. And so when Trump was pushing to get some type of reasonable gun control, of course, the Republican Party went crazy and said, no, 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 let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it later. And of course, nothing got done. So there, I just saw like perhaps another Republican doing something that, would be beneficial to all of America. So that was something. The final thing that I want to talk about that I commend Donald Trump on, and this is something that he actually did, even though he will not take credit for it, because, well, when your political party is hell bent on just ignoring science. I mean, I guess I can understand, but what Donald Trump did is, in office, I mean, he was failing at every turn when it came to the COVID pandemic. I mean, he had his experts in there, and he didn't want to listen to them. He wanted to do his own press conferences. He didn't know what he was talking about. He talked about ingesting bleach. So it was just a lot of crazy stuff. But one thing he did was he created Project Warp Speed, where he was making it so that they could accelerate the development of a vaccine. And Project Warp Speed brought us the COVID vaccine in, I want to say, a little bit under 2 years or under a year, with a 90 to 95% efficacy rate, something that's completely unheard of. I mean, it's years and years and years before they can make a vaccine. So this was something that, Donald Trump really should be proud of. But again, his base of supporters, for whatever reason, have it in their mind that vaccines are bad, that the COVID vaccine causes all of these things. Again, we could go back to previous videos, or just a quick overview of how my thought is that if you have, whether you have a high school diploma, a graduate diploma, some type of trade, if you're not a medical, scientific doctor or researcher, you don't know what you're talking about. You need to actually rely on the experts. I hate to burst anybody bubble, but there's not one single person on this earth that's an expert on everything, that does not need anyone input. You may not agree with what the doctors say, so all you need to do is just see if you can find other doctors who published in well-renowned medical journals, who have some type of standards, to have a contrarian view of it. You weren't getting that. You're just getting someone. Well, I heard my friend who dropped out of high school. He said the vaccine did XYZ to him. Shake, shake my head, shake my head. So, with that kind of backlash, Donald Trump distanced himself from Project Warp Speed, when in actuality, it's really something he should be proud of. And I'm grateful that he actually did it, because it's still an amazing feat to be done. So, those are three things that I think Trump did, or his views were, that align with my views. And so, going into his next administration, I'm definitely going to keep an open mind. And if he do crazy stuff, I will call him out on it, because it's crazy. But if he does something that I think is reasonable, I'm just not going to disagree with him just because he happens to be a Republican. It has to be a little bit more substance to that. And if I was to do that, then everyone in there will have the absolute right to call me a hypocrite, because that is what a hypocrite does. This isn't right. If my guy isn't in office, I should be just criticizing everything the other guy does. No, no, no. That's not right. But those are the cards we have. So anyway, it's just my opinion. And thank you for watching. Love to hear your comments in the comment section. And if you keep watching, I'll keep creating. Thank you.